Another meetup and a new venue, this time in Kissimmee, Florida. First night was the customary gathering of the clan to renew old acquaintances and watch Avatar again. And why had we come to Kissimmee in Florida? Well, to visit Pandora, the world of Avatar, of course, located in Disney's Animal Kingdom. And no time was wasted. On the first day, it was breakfast time, not at Tiffany's, but in Pandora.
Awesome, thank you.
Hello, James. Hello. Yes. I don't know who originally had it. I know Naomi makes these. Sven had it for a while. He gave it to Yasu in 2013, who then lost it for a few years, and he gave it to me. And so at the end of this one, I'm going to give it to somebody else, so it'll go flying around. But for now, it's going to come with me and go through the animal kingdom. There we go.
With everyone accounted for, it was time to head into Animal Kingdom, and there was a short queue before we made it through to the other side. Apparently I avoid pictures too much, so Linda's made me turn the camera on myself.
The dynamic duo here, yeah.
I've been here forever, but I'm barely seen, and I'm sloping off now.
And I want to hear a lot of applause whenever anybody sees this. So, yay!
Our first stop was Flight of Passage, which of course we couldn't video. But here's the breakfast.
I'm on the public relations team for Walt Disney Parks and Resorts. We're glad you guys are here.
Very glad to be here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Very glad to be here.
What you have in front of you is a model release. We're actually doing some filming for the Disney Parks blog. So you'll see a video of Dr. Frommer's week here on the blog. So I always say, once you sign the release, you can actually officially call yourself models because you're signing a release. So we appreciate it if you sign that. And then Dr. Frommer has graciously created a little handout for you guys, which he's going to explain a little bit. So in an interest in time, we're a little behind schedule, so we're going to have Dr. Frommer come up, and I know he needs no introduction, but we're so excited to have him here this week. He's been an integral part of the creation of Pandora, the world of Avatar. He created the word Satuli, in which the Satuli canteen, in which I now stand and you now sit. And I'm just going to turn it over and let him talk about some of the things that he's done. So, off front work.
Thank you.
معانا وانا نعطي كلمة نوت زولان نفرت يسون موارا everybody, great to see everybody. Hello, I see you. Welcome to the Valley of Pandora. This is just amazing, isn't it? Oh my God. So look, this is not going to be a class. Okay, we don't need a formal class. I just constructed this little handout just to give you a crib sheet in case you see certain words that you might be wondering about. It's a little bit anticlimactic. Just going to do about 3 or 4 minutes, and then everybody's going to enjoy breakfast. So what we just heard, the Flight of Passage, it may have been a little bit hard to follow the dialogue with all the experiences, the visceral experiences, and the wind in your face and everything.
There was
so,
dialogue?
There was actually,
Yes, there was.
Your guide, your Pandoran guide, was actually talking to you and encouraging you along the way. So some of the things that she said, the first thing she said was, ready? Follow me. So, Alasi Sra. Sra, of course, is the word that indicates a question. Alasi Sra. Non we. Follow me. Non is just a verb. Follow. We is the object. Me. What's the full form of the word? Weti. Okay. But you can actually contract it in conversation to say non we. Then she says this way. Fifiao. Follow me. Lair, that may be the new word for some of you, not the experts. Lair is just an adjective meaning steady. Ne, of course, creates an adverb, steadily. Not easy, careful, keep going. Number 6 is one I like. You have to remind me if this actually made it into the movie. I think it did. Suntiva, which means, it means it's okay. It's okay. I mean, you're actually giving approval and saying, yeah, you actually did pretty well. Number 10 is one that you'll hear a lot. So the root verb here is sa, S-A, and it means rise to the challenge. Challenge yourself to do something and achieve it. The ko indicates encouragement. Sivako, you can do it. And then there's a corresponding form, number 11, solea. Those are both the same verb. The root is the same in both cases, sa, sa. In the first case, siva is one of the command forms of the word. You can do it, rise to the challenge. Solea, okay, how is that constructed? So, the root verb is actually the S at the beginning and the A at the end. So this is the way it works. It puts stuff in the middle of the verb to indicate things like tense and aspect, and also how you're feeling about it. So the OL part means you've done it. It's been completed. And the EI part indicates, great, I'm happy. As a speaker, I'm happy about what I'm saying. So sa becomes sola and then solea. You'll hear that a lot. And it's nice to be able to use it in ordinary conversation. Siva, oh, you can do it. And solea, hey, you did it, fantastic. Okay? Solea. Yeah, and in fact, you're right. So the stress is at the end. Solea. Sivako, solea. One thing that she indicated is Pandora, my home. Pandora is Ewa Eve. It actually means child of Ewa. And Wei Kelku. Kelku is home. Wei is a short form of Weiyan, meaning mom. Wei Kelku. Number 17, this is probably the most familiar phrase in everyone. Just make sure that you're using it in the right context. So if you're talking to one person, it's ngati kame. So ngati is the object form for you for one person. Nabi has a singular, a dual, a trio, and a plural. So if I'm talking to two people, it's mengati, the two of you. If I'm talking to three people, it's engati, that has that ejective engati, the three of you. And finally, if I'm talking to more than three, it's aingati, all of them. So I can say to this group, well aingati samediye, and I can add the adverb nuol, which means completely, absolutely. So well aingati kame and nuol, I see all of them. And that's what I'm going to say. So just to show you what's on the sheet. The shaman song is something that you'll hear on the river journey. Drum circle is something that you'll hear as well. And then at the end, I just have in alphabetical order some of the Navi terms that you may run into either in spoken or written form. So it's a little bit of a cheat sheet to go on. Okay? As you know, there's been incredible detail brought to this whole enterprise in every aspect, the visual aspect, the cultural aspect, and also the language aspect. So I was involved with the language early on, and I was very happy to be involved, and I've been working with some of the cast members, some of the representatives of the cast members, providing words and phrases that would be useful, providing recordings and things. And then on Thursday, actually, I'll be giving a couple of little classes to some of the cast members just to kind of tweak the pronunciation, tighten up some things.
But have you looked up that giant plant in the entrance? It's really scarring me. 6 years old. Welcome. We're very happy to have you.
Not tell us you want.
After breakfast, we headed out into Pandora and managed to get a group shot just as the place was beginning to fill up. It was a day of indulgence, and unfortunately not a lot of video was taken. But tune in for our second visit. In the meantime, just know it was Dansan. Day 2, and we were in a shuttle of a different sort, this time to the Kennedy Space Center, to explore humanity's endeavour to reach for the stars. You never know, they might be doing trips to Pandora.
Photography of photography, infinite lens pointing.
Lens wars.
It's a little claustrophobic. You wouldn't like it. I'm getting it. ISV monthly.
Where are you going?
Pandora. It'll take me 4 years, or I don't know, 10 years or so. I don't know.
Is there a cryo button in there?
Do I?
Is there a cryo button in there?
Oh, right here. Oh, but it's out of battery though.
With the rocky garden explored, we headed over to the space shuttle Atlantis. There was quite a build-up to see the space shuttle, including 2 short documentary films, until they finally revealed the space shuttle in front of you. It's quite a sight. Before too long, we were setting on our own shuttle for a 2-hour tour of all the rocket launch sites. The viewing platforms offered grand views of the launch sites, including that for the space shuttle and the Apollo space missions.
39B.
Okay, yeah, I can make that out now.
Yeah.
And if that wasn't enough, seeing the launch sites for the space shuttle and the Apollo mission, then we headed to the vehicle assembly building. To give you a sense of scale, each star is about 6 feet across, and each stripe is big enough to park a bus on. Not only that, the doors are so massive that they take 45 minutes to open. The last stop on the tour was the Saturn V rocket. The size of it all put into perspective the achievements in the late 60s that managed to put man on the moon. It had been quite an educational and eye-opening day, to say the least. But the following day, we were heading back to Pandora. The clan's second day at Pandora, and this was the queue for the flight of passage. Fortunately, we had been given fast passes by Disney on our first day, which were going to be put to good use. As you enter Pandora, it gradually reveals itself to you until you see the floating mountains, under which is the entrance to the flight of passage.
And from this point it's 150 minutes. Oh my gosh.
Each fast pass that we were given allowed a group of 5 of us to shortcut the long 3-hour queue. The best way to describe flight of passage is that for a few moments you are actually there. Sooner or later you have to exit the ride. And this is what Avatar fans look like afterwards. Kinda speechless. Although the queue may seem endless and winding, there are some interesting exhibits along the way to keep you occupied, especially when you get inside.
They told me around 45 minutes.
After multiple rides on the flight of passage, the clan hung out by the Sutuli canteen, taking in some of the detail that had been created in Pandora. Everything was meant to give an air of an RDA that had exited years ago. This was complemented by the addition of a rusting hulk of an amp suit. And even the drain covers had RDA stamped in them. So much attention to detail has been incorporated into the surroundings, which is a mixture of real and Pandoran planting. The constant sounds of the waterfalls are punctuated by drumming sessions that happen every couple of hours and encourage participation from the public. After Corey had finished making his own version of Na'vi music, he engaged with the performers, who seemed well impressed with his Na'vi.
Some things lighting up. Yeah. Almost.
Pandora has an immense amount of detail layered upon it, but it comes to life at night with all the bioluminescence, and it was a wonderful way to round off our trip to Pandora.
Or is there another option here?
The morning after the day before, the clan found itself at the Tibet-Butler Nature Preserve. It was time for us to continue our volunteering work with some habitat rehabilitation.
Good morning. Thank you guys for coming and helping us out with some invasive species removal. I'm Erin. Hi, hello. You're going to be working with Danny. I think he's out finishing getting some stuff. All right, well, we're a preserve. We're part of Orange County Parks. We have 438 acres of land. As a rule for our park, we can only have native Florida species in our park, but inevitably non-native things get in here, so we try to control them as best as we can, and that's where you guys are going to come in today. Yeah, so that's Danny.
Or do you want me to pick you up?
You're going to be working with him today.
It's up to you.
Have fun.
Thank you. After introductions, Danny took us on a short walk through the preserve to where we would be working, and then gave us a short introduction to the plants that we would be removing.
There's a fruit developing right here that turns brown. It sticks all over the clone. Relatively easy to get. Now you can just go ahead and smell that. You always got the whiff of it. Yeah, that's characteristic of the
Covers really everything.
So I see a fruit on this right here.
Spare size large ones if anybody needs. Thank you.
This is the unripe fruit they call bitter melon in the Far East. That's the part they use in their cuisine, but I'm not gonna eat it.
White flowers or different flowers?
That's fine. Left to the Florida board.
Yeah, those are the right ones for the seasonal weed. Guys, appreciate it.
You know, Alan, if there's a snake back to me, I want you to save me.
No, I'll just video you.
Yeah, screaming in agony.
Yeah.
Gets real nice there, yeah.
Morning, Linda.
Good morning. May I hold the camera for a while and you pull these?
Do a swapsy.
Baby, you know I'm teasing you. I love to tease by Alan. And I actually love to pull weeds. I truly do.
Yes.
It's a very relaxing thing to do. Unless something jumps out at you.
That's it, yes.
Kind of waiting for something to be jumping out. Oops.
With Site 1 complete, we moved on to Site 2, where a different species needed to be removed and accounted for.
Pull the Florida tassel flower up, is you want to grab near the base, like that, and get more of the roots this way. Otherwise, see, like this one broke off, so this could be a little more tricky to pull up. And what I do is I want to have somebody keep a tally for every one you pull, keep them in little piles and you count them. So I'll have somebody write down in the notepad how many tassel flowers are pulled in total.
4.
Some of them here, they're less developed. How many have you got?
6.
6?
You're doing your math.
Yeah, and I'm not that good at it, but
30. This is 30. Already having over 100.
At least I can be deaf from above in a certain kind of way. 20, okay.
The Bagman. And how many so far?
787.
The other was 33.
And then another 40.
And then another 40.
I scribbled most of them off.
There's 15 really big ones.
15. Mm-hmm.
15.
Yep.
6.
Right, say that again. Place I'm going to be deaf from above and a certain kind of 20, 40, 20, 25, I think it was 40, and 0 was 33, and no, 40. And then another 40.
And him and his wife would go to one.
So bad.
After a couple of hours of long, hard graft, we had made good inroads into clearing the invasive species. In total, we had removed over 2,000 of them and rounded off our work with a group photo. After our hard graft, we headed back to the Nature Preserve's Educational Centre. It had been another very enjoyable Avatar meet, and it was great again meeting everyone who had not seen each other for well over a year. It also brought a number of new faces to the clan, and hopefully they will attend more Avatar meets in the future.
This one.
And so came to an end Avatar Meet 2017, the return to Pandora. There was this one thing that we needed to do though.
There's 25 kilograms of water.
Happy birthday to you! Happy birthday, dear baby! Happy birthday to you!
It was Sven's birthday after all.